closer and closer to the 2025 NBA draft, and ESPN just put out a new mock draft, and they give actually a twist on it as well. They basically say it's debating all 31st round picks, need versus value, and today we are going to be talking about it. All right, so yeah, this was written by their lead analysts, Jonathan Givony and Jeremy Wu, and I'm excited to break this down. I should have a collab mock draft out for you guys here on YouTube, I think on Thursday. I'm going to try to get this out for you guys Wednesday night on the pod. And yeah, collab mock draft out on Thursday. And then I should have another collab mock draft actually with Pierre of Numbers on the Board out Sunday on my Srosh channel. But if you guys are subscribed to the audio platforms on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I will be dropping that on the audio feed maybe as early as Thursday as well, if you want to get that a couple days earlier. And the mock that's the next collab mock that's coming out here, video version on this channel, got to do it in person with Ryan Hammer, great college or a great creator and a great college creator, and big draft guy as well. So it was really fun to talk about the draft for like 40 plus minutes or 30-ish minutes. So yeah, let's hop right into this. And then we're going to start off with the Dallas Mavericks. The biggest need is Cooper Flagg, and learning that the best value is going to be their portion of the mock. So they agree on their biggest need and the best value. Obviously, you're getting the best player in the draft, no matter where it is going to be tremendous value. So yeah, I still can't believe that Cooper Flagg is going 1 to the Dallas Mavericks. It's kind of crazy, but here we are in the Dallas Mavericks offseason. I think it's going to be very interesting because of this. I guess they're kind of in the news as the Knicks are trying to poach away basically every respectable head coach in the league that's under contract. Ime Udoka shot down, Chris Fitz shot down, Jason Kidd shot down, Quinn Snyder shot down. I assume they're going to call the heat about Eric Spoelstra, and Pat Riley may call like the SWAT team to come back at Madison Square Garden because he hates the New York Knicks. They don't have really great ties from their breakup back in the 90s. So yeah, we'll see who the next head coach is going to be. It looks like it's not going to be Jason Kidd. So Cooper Flagg is going to be coached by the Hall of Famer, and I think it's going to be a great spot for him. So at number 2, okay, it's weird not seeing the name Dylan Harper be associated with the San Antonio Spurs at number 2, because Jonathan Givony says that the biggest need is Con Knipple, mainly because of shooting, and they have Stephon Castle, you have De'Aaron Fox, you have Jeremy Sohan around Wemby, where, yeah, you kind of need another shooter out there. So I get the reasoning for that. In the mock, it's still Dylan Harper, so no shocker there. But yeah, it's kind of just weird to see Con Knipple's name. I do think he's the safest shooter in this draft. He's the best shooter in this draft. Like Mr. Basketball at Wisconsin, has shot elite every single level. High school, shot elite from 3 last year at Duke. I mean, if his floor as a three-point shooter is probably still 36% from 3 at the NBA level. But hey, you never know. Like Reed Shepherd was an elite shooter, and he kind of struggled at times as a rookie. So you really never know. So here's where the draft officially starts at number 3. I know, I don't want to mess up his name. Why am I forgetting his first name? Fisher. He works with Mark Stein under his report and Bleacher Report. It's not like John. It's not Jeremy. Oh, man. Okay, well, I want to get it right, so hold on. Jake Fisher, that's who I was trying to say, because he had in a newsletter that the Sixers are kind of zoning in on VJ Edgecombe. They just, like, basically started their workout schedule, and Ace Bailey originally wasn't scheduled, and now he is. So in their mock, it is VJ Edgecombe, and it says that the biggest need is Ace Bailey, and as I went on Twitter, I saw that the Knicks tried to interview Billy Donovan, and the Bulls declined that. It's interesting, because, like, I know Chris Finch and Billy Donovan are making a lot of money, and would that be like an out for their teams if they didn't want to like fire them and have this dead money? That's just a whole interesting wrinkle this offseason that I'm not really loving right now as a Knicks fan, but I think people are going to blow it out of proportion. Like, why not shoot your shot, right? At the biggest name, at the best coach out there, because these coaches that they're trying to hire are better than 99% of the coaches on the free agency market. So you may as well try. I don't really think the Knicks are in a position where they need to give up draft or should be able to give up draft capital. They don't have much, but now I'm going on a tangent. Let's get back here. So Ace Bailey, number 3, is the biggest need, and Edgecombe is the best value. Honestly, that's what I would be mocking right now, is Edgecombe, number 3 to Philadelphia. I think they need defense, they need athleticism, and they need guys that can kind of plug and play out there at any point in the game that are going to be okay not getting double-digit shots a night. I just know Ace Bailey is score first. And how is that going to look next to Paul George and Embiid and Maxey, McCain, and Grimes? All guys that you presume are going to go, or you assume that are going to get more shots than Ace Bailey next year. So I just think Edgecombe makes a little bit more sense. I know you don't want to be the team that passes on Ace Bailey if he does hit a ceiling, but I think in Philadelphia, it's not going to be like that. So the biggest need in Charlotte is Dylan Harper, and the mock pick is Con Knipple. All right, so I'm surprised that we have Harper as the biggest need. Wouldn't we just say Cooper Flagg is the biggest need in Philly? and Charlotte and basically every other team just because he's off the board. I mean, getting Dylan Harper that could play with LaMelo Ball in the backcourt, like that would work because both of them can play on ball and off ball in a way. And LaMelo has had his injury concern. So that's why I like the idea of them getting Edgecombe. I would take Trey Johnson here, not Con Knipple. I just think Johnson has a little bit higher of a ceiling in this league. And I do think he can operate with the ball in his hands and he can move off ball extremely well. So can Con. I just think Trey Johnson has a little bit more star potential in this league, a little bit more of like that scoring rhythm to him and like the score first guy, just a natural like shooter with the ball in his hands than Con Knipple, who I think could be a little bit passive at times. And obviously not as athletic as Trey Johnson, but still a solid athlete in his own right. So I disagree a little bit. I would end up taking Trey Johnson at number 4 instead. So at number 5, we do have the Utah Jazz. They're going to say that the best value is Ace Bailey. So that is the mock pick, but the biggest need would be VJ Edgecombe. If Ace Bailey makes it to 5, which honestly, there's a solid chance that can happen because if you're looking at the Hornets right now, I don't know if you want to add an Ace Bailey to this team. I don't really know if that makes you that much better. And I don't know how he really fits. Not like I think we need guys that can really make each other better and not trying to get these individual guys and you're not really building a team. So Utah, I think, could make a little bit more sense. They're looking for isolation scorers, I think secondary scorers around Lauri Markkanen. And if you would have told a Jazz fan before the year started, you're getting Ace Bailey, you'd be like, all right, sweet, we're getting maybe the best prospect in this class or maybe the number 2 prospect in this class. So I think you're fine getting Ace Bailey, who could become a blue chipper. There was a lot less likely of a chance that Taylor Hendricks or Cody Williams were becoming these blue chippers. Ace Bailey does have that chance, and I love that if he does fall to 5 for Utah. So at number 6, we have the biggest need is Kaman Maluach, and that is the mock pick as well. So I flirted around with the idea of Kaman to Washington if they didn't want to go the Jeremiah Fears route. You can have 2 lanky, physical, imposing big men inside, down low with Alex Sarr, who's a good athlete at his size, and Kaman Maluach, and you can have them play off each other. They protect the rim at a great level. Alex Sarr was a pretty good 3-point shooter for a rookie big last year. He could space the floor for you, and I just think that honestly kind of intrigues me a lot. Maybe it doesn't help you win a title and you can't go far in the playoffs if you're looking at Mobley and Jared Allen, but who cares? This could now really give you one of the best interior defenses in the NBA, and it's going to be really hard to kind of go at these guys if they have Sarr and Maluach down low. I like that a lot, and you can maybe land a Nolan Traore or a Yegor Demon or maybe a Ben Seraph or Walter Clayton with a later pick in the draft from the Grizzlies. So at number 7, biggest need would be Trey Johnson in New Orleans, they mentioned, with Ingram no longer there and McCollum during the last year, but their mock is Jeremiah Fears. I agree with Fears on the board still. I would take him, and if Con Knipple's off the board and Trey Johnson, I would take Jeremiah Fears. I am noticing Trey Johnson has not gone in their mock yet. Interesting. So the biggest need, Trey Johnson's on the board, but that is not going to be the pick. Interesting. I just can't see Trey falling past DC at 6. No way. No way that happens on draft night. So they have Fears going to New Orleans at 7. I love that, but if Johnson's on the board, I'm taking Trey Johnson. He's ranked a lot higher on my board than Fears. So at number 8, it's basically swapped. Jonathan Gavoni says that the pick that fills the biggest need is Jeremiah Fears, who went 1 pick prior to Washington, and Jeremy Wu's pick that gets the best value is Trey Johnson for sure. Trey Johnson at 8 is incredible value. He could be a top player in this class, and Brooklyn really gets, I don't know about a blue chipper, but he's close to it as a prospect from this class. Like, yeah, Flagg and Harper are the blue chip guys, but he's in that next tier of guys you could legitimately build around moving forward. So at number 9, we have Derek Queen as the biggest need and the best value, with Kaman going number 6 to DC. To the Wizards, you end up taking Queen here, who could play off of Scotty Barnes. He could play off of Jakob Poeltl even. I think there's a lot of development that's going to need to go into Derek Queen's game. I would rather take Carter Bryant here. I would even think about Kasper Shakuchonis, who I think can allow Quickly to play a little bit more off ball at times, where you can maybe get the most out of Quickly as more of a combo guard than a true 1. But I don't mind Derek Queen 9 to Toronto. I think that's the ceiling now. I'm not a big fan of Derek Queen ahead of this, if we're being honest. So number 10, we do have the Houston Rockets. Biggest need is Kasper Shakuchonis, but they're going to get Colin Murray Boyles, for the best value. It's not really something they need. They don't really need another defensive first guy in this draft because of how solid their defense was last year. But you're telling me I get to watch Amen Thompson, CMB, and Tari Eason at times next year, and it's not the worst shooting. Well, I mean, CMB and Amen Thompson, not great shooters. Tari Eason can hold his own. Oh man, that is exciting. Now I would think about Kasparis. I would definitely think about Nick Clifford, Carter Bryant, one of those wings here at number 10. instead of Colin Murray-Boyles. I just don't know if that's what Houston needs. And hey, they're picking at 10 via Phoenix. Why not take a high upside swing in Kasparis or Carter Bryant here going forward? So at number 11, the biggest need is Yegor Demon, but Portland is going to end up taking Yakuchonis in this mock. I don't really see the hype in Yegor Demon to Portland. I don't want him to stump the development of Scoot Henderson, and I really don't know how you could play him on the perimeter given how bad of a shooter he was last year at BYU. Maybe you can develop a shot out of him, but then yeah, like where does that leave Scoot? Can Scoot be more off ball? I don't really trust him in that role right now. And then you do have Yakuchonis though going in this mock, which I have ranked higher than Demon. I think he's a lot better of a player in this class. He's a lot better of a shooter in this class as well. Maybe not as like large and physically imposing once like you build out into your NBA body, but Yakuchonis I think can do basically almost everything Yegor Demon can. And has just been more efficient. Yeah, Yegor's probably a better passer, doesn't turn the ball over as much, but I think Yakuchonis can now play combo guard material with Scoot Henderson because of the shooting ability. I just can't, and probably Yegor does have more defensive upside given the size and the length. So at number 12, we have the Chicago Bulls getting Noah Essengay here in the mock, and they mentioned that the biggest need would be Murray-Boyles. I disagree with that. I think the biggest need would probably be Thomas Sorber, if anything here, or you could say Kaman Maluwatch, or Derek Queen, who you had go earlier. That was something they also did earlier with Dylan Harper as their biggest need when he was off the board. So they have Noah Essengay going to Chicago here at number 12. I like that, though, a lot. I think high upside swing is the name of the game for Chicago in this draft. And if they're not going to move Giddey, White, Lonzo, Dosunmu, or they only move one of those guys, I don't really want them to take another guard. And I think Noah Essengay could play maybe some small, very small ball 5 one day, but he could play with Matas Buzelis, and those could be like some really good athletes that could slash and handle the ball well in the half court. 13, Jonathan Givony loves Joan Behringer. I don't think that, like, that's his biggest need, but they don't take him in the mock. They take Yegor Demon. Also kind of hate this. That's not, I know it's a different front office around like Trae Young, and who knows, they may trade Trae Young now that it's not Landry Fields anymore. But man, they've been doing so well getting guys that can defend, shoot, run in transition, guard multiple positions with Jalen Johnson, with Reese Shea, with Dyson Daniels, and to a lesser degree, Terrence Mann, that, hey, maybe Demon is just going to replace the Kobe Buffkin minutes because maybe the jury's out on him. But honestly, I think with Cedric Howard, Rasheer Fleming, Nee Clifford on the board, and Thomas Sorber, it's one of those four. Asa Newell even, I don't like Yegor Demon to the Hawks, to be honest with you. And if they trade Trae Young, then okay, maybe I could see that. So 14, San Antonio, biggest need is Carter Bryant, and they take Carter Bryant in the mock. Oh my God, if you get Carter Bryant at 14 and Dylan Harper at 2, that's an A+ for me on draft night. Those are 2 top 10 guys-ish in my class. I have to finalize my big board. I'm doing that. I think I'm going to try to finish it tonight just because I do want to start rolling out my positional rankings leading up to my final big board that I want to get to like 70 prospects that I feel pretty confident on. So yeah, we have Carter Bryant going to San Antonio, stretch 4, way better shooter long-term projected than Jeremy Sohan, and I think just fits that team more. I think Sohan could really get his most value on a different team than San Antonio and what they're building. He's just never really going to have the ball in his hands with all the guys they're bringing in, especially with Dylan Harper coming off the bench. So OKC, biggest need would be Essengay, just probably taking somebody of a little bit more of a project, but you want to get wing depth when you're not going to be able to afford all these guys in a few years. But they end up taking Behringer in the mock. I dislike that a lot. Fleming, Coward, who's the other guy? Nee Clifford, all on the board. But I see if you want to go project, but I think I would go Thomas Sorber. I think he's going to be a better rim protector long-term than Behringer. And then I also like Danny Wolf. I know he's not good defensively, but he's a lot more versatile offensively, and I think that's what OKC prefers in the half court. All right, so at 16, Jason Richardson is the biggest need, and they take Will Riley in the mock. I don't hate it. I really like Jason Richardson here. That's who I would take. I have him ranked higher than Will Riley, but I'm also perfectly okay with Will Riley going 16. Size, shot creating ability, ball handling ability. Like he was kind of carrying some of the load for Illinois late in that year. And Kasparis was playing more off ball. I don't know if that's a good thing for Riley, bad thing for Kasparis. Either way, I do think Riley would be a good fit there. If Suggs is going to be like the true 1 long term and not a 2, and Riley can maybe slide into that 2 one day. 17, we have the biggest need for Minnesota would be Danny Wolf, and the pick that's getting the best value, Asa Newell. I like Asa Newell. I think he doesn't get as much respect as he deserves. I know if you look at like Jeremiah Fears at Oklahoma, Trey Johnson at Texas, teams that were like bubble teams or playing teams or tournament teams this year for sure, and more flashy scores. But Asa Newell was one of, if not the best player on that Georgia team. He was up there, and definitely their best big, because you also had like Silas Demery, but he was inefficient in some ways. But Asa Newell is a good rim runner. He's a solid rim protector. He could finish inside. He's not clunky with the ball in his hands. He moves well, good footwork. I like Newell to Minnesota at 17. It's not flashy, it's not sexy, but I like the pick. Biggest need for Washington at 18 would be Nolan Traore. That's who I would take here, with Kaman going earlier, but they're going to disagree, and they're going to go Liam McNeely. I don't really know Liam McNeely's role on this team, because Bub Carrington, Corey Kispert, Bilal Coulibaly, we'll see if it's Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart and all these guys that are going to play ahead of Liam McNeely going forward. So I do think I would take the value chance on Nolan Traore at number 18. I just finished watching, like, wrapping up my film on him this year, and it's tough sometimes, like, to scout these international guys, but starting to get more familiar with, like, the French league and St. Quentin and, like, how athletic that league can be compared to other European leagues. But, man, Nolan Traore, like, so good in transition, so comfortable as a dribbler. Like, I think has one of the best handles in this class, but, man, does he struggle hitting difficult shots. And that's fine. But, man, at the NBA, like, if you're going to be this guy that can hit floaters, off-balance rim runners, and just, or off-balance, like, I guess, right-handed shots, left-handed shots. I don't know why I said rim runners. I'm just trying to, like, picture what I watched. And it's just, like, I feel like he never wowed me at times. There would be step-back threes here and there, some nice pull-up threes. But I feel like I would just like to see him, I don't know, if it's like an up and under or a Euro step. Sometimes he would get blocked a lot. And I left a little bit disappointed because I really want to like Nolan Traore as like a top 10 player in this class. So at number 19, we have the pick that fills the biggest need, Liam McNeely, but the pick that gets the best value is Thomas Sorber. I agree. I mean, you're leaving this draft with Trey Johnson and Thomas Sorber in this mock. That's an A++ for the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, they can get Sorber at 19. They're not getting Trey Johnson at 8. No way. For Miami at 20, Ben Serif is the biggest need. I don't know about that one, Jim. And then Jeremy Wu says the best value is Jace Richardson. I agree. I have Jace Richardson close to my top 10, so getting him at 20 is great value. I don't love the fit in Miami. Like, I'd rather him be on the different Florida team on the Orlando Magic. I do think you can't really play him and Hero out there at the same time. I think you can even land like OG Anunoby and like Herb Jones this offseason, and Hero and Jace would still be unplayable defensively in the backcourt. It'd be fun offensively. It'd be scary defensively. So next up at 21, the Utah Jazz, the biggest need would be Nick Clifford. I mean, if Nick Clifford's on the board, I'm taking him, but they're going to take Danny Wolf instead. I mean, I don't hate it, but like a lot of front court guys, like Hendricks is back healthy, former top 10 pick that you still want to see what you have in him. He had such a good March back in 24, but got hurt into game 3 of his sophomore year. You have Filipowski, who was a good rookie last year. Markkanen for now is on this team. Kessler's on this team. I just don't know how many minutes Wolf is getting as a rookie, and he is NBA ready. Next up at 22 for the Atlanta Hawks. So many good guys still on the board. Cedric Howard's the biggest need, and they pass on him for Maxime Reynaud. So you end up with Yegor Demon and Reynaud in this class. I don't love that. If it was the way that this mock went, like Sorber at 13, and I can get one of Nick Clifford still on the board, Rasheer Fleming on the board, and Cedric Howard still on the board, it's what I want to build around Trae Young. So I kind of disagree with their Hawks picks here. Gavoni mentions for the biggest need for the Pacers, Thomas Sorber, obviously Turner free agent, Isaiah Jackson free agent. They need another big, but they get Nate Clifford. And I went to a wedding in Tampa a couple weeks ago, and my flight there and my flight back, I basically just watched like 4-ish hours of Nick Clifford film, finishing up on that, and I came away like, I want to see him on the Indiana Pacers. After watching what Rick Carlisle like did with this team in the playoffs, and how no matter make, miss, they are running, they are sprinting the floor. One of the best players in that class last year on the perimeter was Nick Clifford, and his shot selection and diet got so much better throughout the course of the year, just using pump fakes, up and unders, spin moves, fall away jumpers. It was really incredible what Nick Clifford was able to do. Hit big time shots. The mid-range jumper was really good. Phenomenal rebounder for his position. He gets the comp to Josh Hart. I mean, the Pacers would get a great grade if that happened. Hugo Gonzalez, biggest need to the Thunder at 24. They ended up taking Nolan Traore. I mean, I don't really get that. I don't. They ended up taking, was it Behringer earlier at 15? It was Behringer, and then you're going to take Traore, so 2 international guys, but you have Nikola Topic, you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you have AJ Mitchell. I don't know why we need to take another point guard that really can't play off ball. I would take Rasheer Fleming here. I would take Cedric Howard here, who are both still on the board. I would even think about Cam Jones here, if you want a backcourt member. Walter Clayton even, because they could use some three-point shooting. Orlando, biggest need is Maxime right now. And then the best value is Hugo Gonzalez. I disagree. I want somebody else who can't shoot in Orlando. Please, no, they don't really need perimeter defense, which is Hugo's calling card, who averaged like less than 5 points per game at Real Madrid this year. There's Walter Clayton still on the board. There's Cedric Howard still on the board. There's Rasheer Fleming still on the board. Cam Jones still on the board. It's like the 9th guy I would have here in this position. So back-to-back Brooklyn picks. Oh my God, man. Cedric Howard is the mock pick. They mentioned the biggest need would be Will Riley, but he went 16 to Orlando. So right now we have Trey Johnson at 8, Thomas Sorber at 19, and Cedric Howard at 26. That is an A++++. Incredible. And at 27, they mentioned Asa Newell's a need, but they end up with Ben Seraph. Hey, you didn't get a point guard out of all those guys, so you take one there at 27. So Seraph, Coward, Sorber, Trey Johnson, A++++. 1+ for each pick in this draft. That would be a phenomenal class for Brooklyn. I wonder if they are going to keep all 4 of their first because they have another second. Biggest need for Boston at 28 is Noah Penda. I don't really know if they need perimeter defense like that, but I see the vision. Walter Clayton is the pick here. A little redundant with Peyton Pritchard over there, but if they move Drew Holiday and they just want guys that could shoot, he's basically the best shooter available for sure. Because you're not taking Kobe Brea here at 28. Biggest need for the Suns is Walter Clayton. I really don't know about that. They need defense. They need rim protection. I would say Behringer, Kalkbrenner over Clayton, but they give him Rasheer Fleming. I like that. If Rasheer Fleming is there at 29, sprinting to the table to put that pick in and getting Rasheer Fleming, who could play the 3, the 4, and in a pinch the 5, could space the floor, good athlete as well. Great standing reach. And then lastly, 30, the Clippers' biggest need would be Rasheer Fleming, but he's off the board, so they end up going Ryan Kalkbrenner. Some big man depth that can help them right away, because you don't really want to watch Drew Eubanks or the carousel of backup bigs that they had last year. So that is going to wrap out ESPN's new 2025 NBA mock draft. Like I said, I will have more collabs out here. I want to get more collabs involved here on the podcast, and then I think maybe like a couple videos a week here and episodes you guys can get just me. But I think it's cool to have another voice, and with the draft heating up, I should be doing more draft content. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you subscribe to the audio platforms. Links to that are in the YouTube description, because I'm going to be dropping the audio episode probably on Thursday with Ryan Hammer, and then maybe Friday with Pierre from Numbers on the Board. So be on the lookout for that. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.